Hi everyone, welcome to Legally Yours. We're here today with Melinda from Step by Step Support, Daniel Daly and Melanie, to talk about how these child inclusive practices work and why it's actually a benefit to family lawyers to be a part of this process. So Daniel, starting with you, how did this process differ for you in standard cases that you normally come across?
Well, I felt like all the parties and all the professionals involved were all working towards the goal of resolving a matter, which unfortunately isn't always the case when you have a family law matter, especially when it goes to court. I'm still there to get the best outcome to my client, but we're all cognizant of the fact that we want to come up with a solution that's going to work best for everyone, particularly in a parenting case where parents need to get along with each other essentially for the next 10, 11, 12 years. So it was that common goal that was the driving factor in this process.
Fantastic. And did you find that, if we just put yourself, coming back to yourself as a lawyer, that it actually enabled you to be a lot more straightforward with how the process worked? It was a lot more predictable because you knew what you were aiming for. How did you find the process?
Yeah, it certainly was. It was the visibility of the process is there, and I can tell the client exactly what next step we're going to take and what we intend to achieve and where we hope to be at the end of the process. So it was terrific in that sense, and also allowed me to give the client the legal advice they needed, but also raise some of the issues to the client to consider, such as, well, this is the case that's been raised by the other party. What do you think about that? How might you take that into consideration when offering your next proposal? So the clarity of the process was certainly helpful.
Fantastic. Melanie, can we throw over to you? So how did you actually find the process, and having all the experience that you have in family law, how did it differ for you?
I think it's having the additional information and being able to speak to Melinda, find out additional information that you don't normally, and you're not normally privy to. It's really important to have the extra knowledge of the client and understanding of their family dynamics and additional information about their children and long-term needs that they may require. So you get more of an understanding of their family. So.
And one feedback that I often hear from family lawyers is around that sometimes during that process of a matrimonial separation, they often have a toxic relationship with their client because, perhaps something's gone wrong in the process, or they feel they're spending too much money, or they're not sure of the process. Did you find going through this it was a lot smoother in relation to that?
I definitely find, this process a lot smoother. I can reassure the client that I can go back and speak to Melinda and find out some of that additional information. It's just a more streamlined process for the client. So.
Fantastic. And did you find at the end of when you've worked together that the client was, what was their feedback on that? What were you sort of hearing? Was it a lot of a better outcome for you, for the client as well?
Definitely. The client appreciates the collaborative approach, working together so the client feels supported, and even after the process, they can go back and speak to Melinda and if they have any issues in relation to children, so they can iron out those little issues.
So happy clients, happy lawyers.
Yes.
Melinda, do you have anything to add?
Well, I was speaking to a family lawyer yesterday, and she said that what she sees in our process is that every lawyer's dealt with the clients where it's gone through to final hearing and it's just been traumatic for everybody, and also even sometimes after orders where the client comes back and it's really difficult. And so she was talking about this idea where lawyers want to be able to provide a good long-term solution for their families, and it's as if working together this way gives the family lawyer that chance to feel they're contributing, but not doing it all, because as you've just described, we were able to check in with each other and I was doing some support, and we know and then I guess for lawyers there's this sense that they might be doing work that is more productive and more on target for them to be able to do good legal work, rather than the things that overload them and bog them down. And I guess it can just make them, as you said before, it can become toxic in these matters.
Right. And the wonderful thing is the likelihood of those clients going away and actually talking about their experience in a positive framework is so much greater, and the referrals that they'll then refer through to these wonderful family lawyers. Well, thank you so much for talking about your experiences, and if you'd like to connect with this service, step-by-step support, or with Melanie or Daniel, please head to our platform at legallyyours.com.au, or you can email us at info@legallyyours.com.au.